Look around. What do you see? Maybe your bed, the device you're watching this on, your TV. Now tell me, what's it made out of? Yeah, it might be made out of wood or metal, but what are those things made of? What are those things? Well, those are some of the questions I'm going to be answering today. Before I get started, hi, my name is Hannah Alaro, and I'll be presenting this presentation. Today, you'll be learning about what makes up our everyday items and everything. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify the types of matter, what makes up matter and the parts, and be able to describe how matter can change. So here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to learn what matter is and what it's made of. Then we're going to learn the types of matter. And finally, we're going to review the information and see what you can remember. So, what is matter? It's just stuff. Everything around you is matter. Your book, matter. Your pencil, matter. Your bed, matter. You get the idea. Matter is anything that has weight or takes up space. So what's it made out of? Atoms. Everything around you is basically a giant puzzle filled with billions and trillions of atoms. You can't see them because they're much too tiny, but they're there. Did you know that there are over 5 million atoms on just the tiny tip of a needle? That's a lot. So just imagine how many are in you. Let's think of it like this. I have a sentence. My name is Hannah. Now I'm going to circle the words in that sentence. Those circled words can be considered molecules, but you don't have to worry about that for now. Now I'm going to circle the letters in the sentence. You see how I can't break down the sentence anymore? The letters in this sentence are the smallest forms that I can break it down into. You can think of atoms as the same way. Atoms are the tiniest thing that makes up everything around us. The word atom comes from a Greek word atomos, meaning indivisible, or not able to cut, because you can't cut an atom in two. There are 3 parts of an atom: electrons, protons, and neutrons. Electrons have a negative charge and sort of acts as an electrical fence to keep the protons and the neutrons contained. Protons have a positive charge and are located in the center of the atom called the nucleus. Neutrons have no charge and are also located in the nucleus. So back to what I mentioned earlier. What is a molecule? As you can see in this sentence, I already have all the letters circled, symbolizing the atoms. Now I'm going to circle the words in the sentence. Okay, do you see how these circled words still have the letters inside of them? From that, you can understand that atoms make up molecules, and molecules make up you. You can be the sentence, symbolically, and this word can be a molecule. So that shows that the atoms make up your molecules, and your molecules make up you. This is a molecule that codes for water. There are millions and trillions of different molecules that make up things like wood or plastic. So what kind of states of matter are there? Now that we know what matter is made of, it can be broken up into 3 main forms: solids, liquids, and gases. Solids are basically everything around you that you can feel or touch. Liquids are things like soda or water, and gases are things like air. Now, I know what you might be thinking. How can air be matter if you can't see it or touch it? Well, I'll prove it to you. In order to do this experiment, you'll be needing these materials and follow these steps. At the end, you should see this outcome where it proves that the one filled with air weighs more than the empty balloon. So now I'm going to talk about the states of matter. Matter is an ever-changing thing, and in this slide, I'll be showing you how liquid can change into solids. So in this picture, we can see the molecules for a liquid. You see how there's space in between them? That's what makes it easy for you to swim through water or place an item in water, because there's so much space in between the molecules. Now, this is the molecules for a solid object. You see how there's barely any space in between them and they're very tightly packed together? That's why you can't just run through a wall. That's why you can't place an object through a solid thing, because there's no space in between the molecules. Now, liquids can change to a solid when temperature goes down, because the molecules become shocked close together and become cold, so they huddle together. That can be seen in this picture where a liquid bubble turns into an ice bubble. Now, let's talk about how a solid can turn into liquid. Like I was saying in the other slide, the molecules of a liquid are tightly packed together and have barely any space to them. But when temperature is risen, those molecules can become spread out. That's why when you light a solid candle, that's why you can see liquid wax coming off of it. Now, liquid can also turn into gas. You see how initially we can see at the bottom how the molecules are sort of packed together, but they have space in it, just like how a liquid one has. But you see how this temperature is high? That high temperature causes the molecules to have even more space in between them, causing things like steam, as you can see in this picture. Have you ever noticed that when you boil water or take a hot shower, you see steam? That happens as a result of an increased temperature, making the water molecules separate. So, what do you remember? Get a piece of paper and write these things down. The 3 forms of matter, how particles look for each state, and draw an example of how matter can change. Then, you can fill out the parts of an atom. I added a little hint here as to see if you can remember which part of an atom gives a positive charge. Want to do more? There are experiments that I linked in my presentation where you can make a mysterious substance that turns from liquid to solid at the tip of your fingers. Ask an adult to help you out for a fun experiment at home. You can also watch a Bill Nye the Science Guy episode on matter. Along with that, you can watch a fun atom song as a way to remember information about atoms and the parts of it. There's also a worksheet here that you can practice. Thanks! Any questions? You can find me at these 2 emails if you have any questions. This video was brought to you by Interns for Good, where volunteers are ready, willing, and able to help. Bye!